conversations, and then in order for reconciliation, and part of that has to be accountability. In his new memoir, Spare, Prince Harry chronicles the family dynamics that defined his life as the magnificent preparations for trooping the color 2025 enter their closing stages. Enthusiasm spreads across the United Kingdom. The royal family is preparing for what should be a unifying and historic event. Being Charles III's official 77th birthday party on June 14th, flags are already lining the mall, horses are being schooled to perfection, and royal courtiers are meticulously finishing every sparkling detail. But this year's headlines aren't all about tradition. They are about who will not be there. Prince Harry has been officially prohibited from attending. This was not by chance, not by mistake, by decision. A final planned step, purportedly approved by Prince William personally, has sent shockwaves through the royal family and around the world. It is the type of exclusion that has not occurred in recent royal history. A son of the monarch, a veteran, a former working royal, a prince by blood. However, he will not be standing on the palace balcony. He won't be waving with his father, and he will not take part in the world's most watched royal parade. According to palace insiders, the schism between William and Harry, which was formerly viewed as terrible but repairable, has reached a tipping point. And the exclusion from Charles's birthday parade, one of the most famous and iconic events on the royal calendar, is interpreted as a subtle, harsh message. The timing heightens the drama. This is Charles's first significant birthday as king since his coronation. A moment that should symbolize togetherness, legacy, and continuance. Instead, it has become a platform for a royal split. Behind this royal fallout is a broader story of intimate betrayals, personal boundaries broken, and the creation of a new royal order that defies convention and sensibility. Inside Montecito, Prince Harry is said to be reeling. Some think he expected it. Others claim he was taken completely by surprise. But no one believes that the royal family is moving on without him. As the palace remains silent, the entire world watches and waits. What precisely did Harry do to get a lifetime ban? And how did Prince William climb to the position of crown enforcer? This is more than just a family disagreement. It's the final severance of royal blood played out for all to see. And it all began with an invitation that never arrived. Prince William and Prince Harry were once praised as inseparable brothers who bore the weight of a nation's grief following Princess Diana's death. And they were long regarded as each other's anchor in a world defined by duty and tragedy. In their youth, they shared more than blood, trauma, mischief, joy, and loyalty. The public grew up alongside them, witnessing them negotiate the pressures of royalty with uncommon empathy and intimacy. But by 2025, that image will be long gone. And now, as the royal family prepares to celebrate King Charles's birthday on June 14th, the terrible alteration of their brotherhood is the monarchy's loudest hidden truth. It did not happen overnight. However, the wounds have never healed. The first schism occurred when Harry and Meghan announced their sudden departure from royal life in 2020, stepping down from official duties and going to California. While Harry claimed it was a move for freedom and mental health, William saw it as an abandoning, not only of family, but also of their late mother's heritage. Behind palace doors, the conversations became tense. The late Queen Elizabeth reportedly begged both brothers to reconcile, but the division simply widened. The interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021 put salt to already sensitive wounds. William interpreted Harry and Meghan's allegations of bigotry, isolation, and apathy inside the palace as a personal betrayal. He famously replied to a reporter's question, "We're not a racist family." However, that wasn't the answer that mattered. Silence among the brothers shouted louder than any public denial. Then came Harry's memoir, Spare. Published in 2012, it shook the firm's foundations. In its pages, Harry recalled a physical argument with William, claimed Catherine made Meghan weep and depicted his older brother as cold, condescending, and emotionally closed off. It was more than simply a book. It was an act of war within the family. By the time King Charles was crowned in 2023, the fissures had become fully obvious. Harry's appearance was brief, remote, and awkward. He flew in alone, sat 3 rows back. We flew out the same day. There were no private meetings with William. There are no late-night peace discussions. Only tension, blank eyes, and protocols meant to keep them apart. Deciders say that Harry has continued to speak publicly, often cryptically, about unfinished business with his family, which has exacerbated the situation in recent months. He suggested in interviews that the truth still hadn't come out. Rumors circulated that he was developing a second memoir or a tell-all documentary that would bring William and Catherine back into the spotlight, which the future king would never allow. Behind the scenes, aides claim William has hit his limit. He gave Harry multiple chances, one royal source admits. But there comes a time when a brother becomes a liability, not just to the family, but to the institution. That rising notion that Harry has become a threat to the monarchy has altered William's perspective from sibling to guardian of the throne. But as Catherine's image has become increasingly linked to the royal family's future, William is said to have promised to defend her and their children at all costs. So, in the run-up to Trooping the Colour 2025, with the entire world watching, William took an impossible decision. He forbade his brother, not with a dramatic statement, not with a palace fanfare. But there's an unnerving silence. No invitation, no call, there is no acknowledgement, and that quiet, from a brother who once walked behind Diana's coffin beside him, has now become the royal family's most powerful statement. The question is no longer whether the brothers will be reunited. The question is whether they'll ever be able to stand in the same room again. And as June 14th approaches, it becomes increasingly evident that there is no turning back. As the day of King Charles III's 77th birthday celebration, the big Trooping the Colour 2025 approaches, all eyes are on the senior royals who will take center stage. The Buckingham Palace balcony will soon be filled with familiar faces, Charles and Camilla, William and Catherine, and the next generation, George, Charlotte, and Louis, standing proudly. One name is conspicuously missing, Prince Harry, and this is no accident. The final decision was made by Prince William himself. For weeks, many speculated about whether an olive branch would be extended. Some insiders speculated that Charles, ever the mediator, would push for an invitation in the name of unity. Others speculated that behind the scenes, Harry had secretly expressed a desire to attend, if not officially, then at least in a modest, non-controversial capacity. But William's camp responded quickly and simply. No, there would be no invitation, no reconciliation, and no attempt to conceal the brothers' deteriorating relationship. For William, this was more than just a personal issue. It was about creating a line in the sand between loyalty and betrayal, duty and disturbance. According to palace sources, William made it known in private discussions, now isn't the time for a stunt or a scene. This is our father's moment, our country's traditions, and I will not have it hijacked. The word hijacked was apparently at the heart of William's anxiety. In his opinion, Harry and Meghan have established a media brand that feeds on royal controversy, well-timed revelations, and emotional bombshells that damage the institution. To William, putting Harry back into such a high-profile situation would be like inviting a wildfire to a state supper. But there was an additional layer. Catherine. After years of being dragged into media storms over Meghan's interviews and Harry's memoir, Catherine has remained a beacon of calm dignity. William had seen his wife suffer punch after hit without protest. Behind the palace gates, aides claim William personally promised Catherine that her days of being surprised were over. This ban, in many respects, was a fulfillment of that pledge. "It's not just about Harry anymore," one source said. "It's about protecting the monarchy's future, and for William, Catherine is the cornerstone of that future." Despite opposition from senior courtiers and even Charles himself, William apparently remained resolute. He reminded them that this was a military occasion and not a family reunion. Trooping the color is more than just a birthday celebration. It symbolizes national strength, royal unity, and public trust. And inviting someone who has openly criticized the royal family, accused palace officials of bigotry, and revealed private family moments to the public, that was not an option for William. A royal aide expressed it bluntly. "You don't get to burn down the house and then show up for tea." As parade preparations near completion, the decision is finalized. This Harry will not be present, not on the balcony, not in the background, not even as a footnote to the show. This is the most symbolic exile in modern royal history. The heir to the throne, not the king, was responsible for this. A future king has made it clear that there is no tolerance for anarchy in his kingdom. A storm is brewing in Montecito, California's peaceful, manicured hills. Far from the pomp and pageantry of Buckingham Palace, Prince Harry is allegedly unraveling behind the walls of his luxurious castle. And the trigger? The stark, indisputable truth is that he has been completely cut off from the year's largest royal event, Trooping the Color 2025. According to sources close to the Duke of Sussex, he is torn between wrath and sadness. The revelation that he will be barred from attending King Charles's next birthday procession, a ceremony that should signify unity and heritage, has reportedly left Harry feeling betrayed, humiliated, and more isolated than ever before. And the decision was not simply a snub. It was a message from his brother. According to insiders, Harry refused to believe the whispers about his exclusion. He reportedly said to a close buddy, "They wouldn't dare. Not for anything this public." But when the official guest list was posted and his name was nowhere to be found, reality slammed him like a goods train. And he did not take it well. One source called Harry's initial reaction pure rage. He was pacing and shouting. He continued asking William how he could achieve this. How could the palace allow this? He felt like the rug had been pulled out from under him all over again. Those close to Harry believe it reopened old scars. The funeral for Prince Philip, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, his brief and frigid attendance at King Charles's coronation. In each occasion, Harry hoped for a sign of recovery, a sign of welcome. And now, with no invitation and no way back, a sign of welcome. And now, with no invitation and no way back, those hopes have turned to ashes. Behind closed doors, Harry is reported to have battled with Meghan, who apparently advised him not to set unrealistic expectations. She reportedly told him months ago that the royals were done playing nice, and that William was no longer willing to entertain any drama. However, Harry, still hoping for some sort of familial redemption arc, hoped that his father may intervene. But King Charles has not publicly, not privately, not at all. The silence from his father could be the most difficult part. Those close to Harry claim he feels abandoned, as if his father chose the crown above his own son. He still loves Charles, a buddy admitted, but he can't understand why he won't speak up for him, even once. As the parade date approaches, Harry is scurrying behind the scenes. Some allege he has made several attempts to contact William, including through aides, intermediaries, and a direct message. However, none have been answered. That radio blackout has only exacerbated the slide. In moments of vulnerability, Harry is said to have questioned everything. From his decision to leave the royal family, to the incendiary biography and the Oprah interview, he's wondering if he went too far, a longtime friend explained. He figured they'd come around. He did not expect to be erased. Now, for the first time, Those close to Harry are admitting what the palace has probably already acknowledged. He's not only hurt, he is desperate. Desperate to be seen. Desperate for forgiveness. Desperate to be a part of something that previously provided him with structure, meaning, and identity. But, as the banners rise above London and military rehearsals echo down the Mall, Prince Harry has no place in the royal lineup. Not this time, and possibly never again. Behind each royal scandal is a figure who says nothing but affects everything. In this scenario, the figure is Catherine, Princess of Wales, rather than a king or prince. While the media focus on Harry's meltdown and William's final decision, insiders believe Catherine's quiet, steadfast presence is the true driving force behind the scenes. And for those in the know, it's becoming increasingly evident that Harry's absence from Trooping the Colour 2025 isn't just about his feud with William, but also over what he did to Catherine. Catherine has undergone what no royal ever should, becoming collateral damage in the conflict between the Sussexes and the rest of the monarchy. Catherine's name has been repeatedly brought into the spotlight, typically painted as cold, complicit, or even nasty, particularly by Meghan and Harry's media machine. Throughout it all, she has remained calm. There are no interviews, no rebuttals, only grace. Still, experts believe Catherine and William haven't forgotten. Privately, palace staff recollect the incident that shattered something inside the future queen. It wasn't just one comment or accusation. It was the result of years of character assassination, all while she carried out her royal duties without complaint. According to a senior royal official, William observed how it chipped away at her, he's seen the toll it took, and he vowed never again. This commitment marked a watershed moment in their marriage, and more crucially, in William's leadership. From that point forward, defending Catherine became a non-negotiable line. That is why Harry's absence this year is not just strategic, but also emotional. According to sources, prior to the 2025 Trooping the Colour, Catherine made no demands, offered no ultimatums, and said nothing negative about her brother-in-law. But she didn't need to. William needed nothing more than her silence, poise, and the apparent hurt in her eyes from years of betrayal to take action. "She's the future queen," a royal insider said. "Do not attack her and expect to be welcomed back." That's not how things work anymore. Catherine's effect is frequently described as subtle, yet absolute. While she avoids the spotlight during conflicts, her presence behind the throne has begun to influence critical decisions, not through instructions, but by unspoken clarity. As one top aide stated, Catherine carries the moral compass, whereas William may one day wear the crown. He always listens to it. Catherine is alleged to have expressed sadness and private about what happened with Harry. Not hatred, not revenge, just a profound, resigned disappointment. According to friends, she once expected Harry to return to the fold, apologize, and rebuild. But now that door is closed. With each step, the palace sends a clear message. This is Catherine's court now, not too loud, not vengeful, but immovable. The monarchy's destiny is being shaped through quiet rather than swords. Catherine, the silent storm behind the scenes, is demonstrating that true power does not shout. It whispers, and the entire institution listens. For Harry, that whisper has now become a barrier he may never be able to climb again. While the public prepares for the spectacle of Trooping the Colour 2020 and Prince William forges ahead with what many view as a bold, necessary future for the monarchy, one character remains stranded in the middle, King Charles III. To the outer world, he is prepared to commemorate his 77th birthday with military precision and royal splendor. But beyond the royal gates, sources say Charles is grappling with one of the most difficult emotional problems of his reign: how to honor the monarchy he pledged to protect, while quietly lamenting the alienation of the son he still loves. According to insiders, the king has been profoundly troubled about the decision to ban Prince Harry from this year's festivities. Though he did not publicly contradict Prince William's hard attitude, people close to Charles believe his silence was a resignation rather than an endorsement. He knows the institution comes first, a royal aide claimed. But that doesn't mean his heart isn't breaking. Charles has experienced this internal conflict before. Since the Sussexes' departure from royal duties in 2020, the king has walked a fine line between duty and parenting. He's attempted reconciliation in secret, asking the couple to events, making offers to visit, and even keeping channels of communication open after others had closed them. However, each olive branch was met with new headlines, critiques, or dramatic revelations. However, insiders claimed Charles never gave up hope, even as Harry's memoir Spare shocked the monarchy by revealing private talks, portraying Camilla as a villain and accusing senior royals of treason. The king's reaction was calm. He's apparently saddened but not surprised, opting to avoid conflict and instead prioritize stability. But this time seems different. This time the line was set not by courtiers or Camilla, but by his heir, Prince William. And this alters everything. Charles has privately admitted to being pained by the situation. He is believed to miss Harry and be concerned about the long-term effects of a protracted exile. He doesn't want to die with his sons at war, one acquaintance revealed. He thought time would heal them, but time has only made the wounds deeper. What makes matters worse is the pressure it places on his relationship with William. While Charles admires William's leadership and shares his goal for a contemporary respected monarchy, he also understands that William's protection of Catherine comes with no room for past betrayals, and Charles, as king and father, feels powerless. Then there is Camilla. After years of defending her against public criticism, Charles now finds himself in an unusual situation. The lady he supported despite scandal, scrutiny, and suspicion is now a symbol of family division. And while he remains devoted to her, he can't deny that much of Harry's hatred and William's revolves around her presence. On the eve of the parade, Charles is said to spend lengthy hours alone in his study, poring over details of the event and likely worrying about his son, who will not be present. He understands that the crown requires sacrifice, and this may be the largest one yet. Charles will smile as he waves from the balcony on June 14th, and deep down, he will be a parent witnessing his family disintegrate from within. This time, not even the king can fix it. Trooping the color. 2025 will continue as the royal flags rise, and the sound of marching drums resonates along the mall. Brilliant, proud, and steeped in history. The balcony of Buckingham Palace will once again be lined with the faces that represent Britain's monarchy. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Catherine and their children, George, Charlotte and Louis, standing erect and waving to a public that still cherishes its royal family. However, this year, one figure will be missing more prominently than ever before. There will be no Prince Harry, not in the procession, not on the balcony, not even among the crowd. His absence will not be due to a scheduling difficulty or a discreet wish to stay out of the spotlight. It is a banishment, strong and purposeful, sealed by his brother's dying words. For the first time in contemporary royal history, the monarch's direct son has been visibly barred from the most iconic event of the year. Even if the pomp will go on without a hitch, the emotional fault lines beneath the monarchy are now impossible to ignore. To many observers, this moment represents more than simply a personal breakdown. It signals the formal end of Harry's involvement in the House of Windsor. Years of strife, memoirs, interviews, and claims have resulted in this, a family ripped apart with devotion to the crown prevailing over blood ties. According to insiders, this procession marks a turning point, A moment when William truly embraces his duty as the family's protector and future king, and Catherine's calm resolve forms the strong line that the monarchy will henceforth maintain. And for Harry, this is the clearest signal yet. There is no way back. There is no uniform to wear. There is no father's embrace waiting at the gate. There's no brother to stand beside. Be quiet in exile, and the echo of what could have been, the procession will be perfect. However, the nation will be aware that the royal family is no longer intact, and Prince Harry has become its specter.